The City of Santa Ana Public Works Agency is pleased to share insights on the Fairview Bridge Replacement and Street Improvement Project, also known as the Project. The project is to improve pedestrian and bicycle safety and address traffic congestion. The City of Santa Ana, in conjunction with Caltrans District 12, proposes to replace and widen the Fairview Street Bridge crossing over Santa Ana River and widen Fairview Street between 9th Street and 16th Street. The City has prepared a draft initial study mitigated negative declaration in accordance with the California Environmental Quality Act, or CEQA, to evaluate potential significant environmental impacts associated with the proposed project. This presentation provides an overview of the proposed project, describes the project objectives, benefits, and impacts, outlines the environmental review process, summarizes the results of the initial study, mitigated negative declaration, prepared for the proposed project, and provides next steps in the process and project funding. Built in 1963, the existing Fairview Bridge over the Santa Ana River is structurally deficient and has several safety concerns. The bridge does not have sidewalks or lighting for pedestrians to cross the river. The shoulder width is not sufficient for bike use, and the barriers along the edge of the bridge are outdated and have been damaged multiple times from vehicles hitting them. Lastly, as shown here, Fairview Street is 2 lanes each direction within the project limits, whereas there are 3 lanes, or sufficient width to provide 3 lanes, in each direction north and south of the project. The project aims to remedy these deficiencies and improve mobility. Initially, the city only considered replacement of the bridge. However, leveraging federal and local grants, the resultant proposed project was expanded to close the gap in the number of lanes to 9th Street, vastly improving mobility. The proposed project limits extend from 9th Street to 16th Street. The proposed work consists of replacing Fairview Street Bridge with widening in order to accommodate new sidewalk, bike lane, raised median, and 1 additional lane in each direction. The new bridge would include sidewalks connecting to the existing sidewalks on either side of the river, providing continuous pedestrian access. Lighting for pedestrians would be provided on the new bridge. When completed, Fairview Street would have 6 lanes, 3 lanes in each direction, within the entire project limits. As mentioned on the previous slide, the project's objectives is to increase safety for pedestrian and bicyclists on the bridge over the river. This entails replacing the bridge to accommodate 6 traffic lanes, adding 8-foot sidewalks on both sides, and adding pedestrian safety lighting. Other objectives include reducing traffic congestion within the project area, providing bike lanes along both sides of the road, and improving the safety while upgrading aesthetics in the area by adding landscape medians. The proposed bridge would be 100 feet wide compared to the 52 feet width of the existing bridge and be designed for modern truck loading. The bridge includes 6 lanes, 4-foot raised median for safety, 5-foot bike lanes on both sides, and 8-foot sidewalks on both sides. The bridge barriers would be modern concrete safety barriers. The center line of the bridge would be shifted 4 feet east to accommodate constructing the bridge in 2 stages, which would keep at least 1 lane along Fairview Street open in each direction for cars during construction. The project has several community benefits. The improvements would provide a safer and more comfortable walking experience within the continuous sidewalks, raised median, and dedicated bike lanes for bicyclists, concrete bridge barriers, brighter area with new lighting, and improved bridge capacity. The proposed project would also provide better accessibility by meeting all ADA requirements for curb and sidewalks. Additionally, the proposed project would remove the 4-lane traffic bottleneck within the segment of Fairview Street, which will improve traffic flow. Construction of the proposed project would have some impacts within the community. Acquisition of 1 full property and 1 partial property at the corner of 9th Street would be needed to provide safe vehicular distances for vehicles turning from 9th Street onto Fairview Street. There would be several temporary impacts during construction. There's possible congestion during the first stage of construction, which would provide 2 southbound lanes and only 1 northbound lane. This is likely to last around 6 months during a single summer. The second stage of construction would occur the following summer and would provide 2 lanes in each direction during construction. The bike path along the river would be temporarily shut down for a few days or hours at a time and detouring during portions of the construction, such as during bridge demolition and placement of new bridge girders. Other impacts should include construction noise within the project vicinity for the contractor to complete the work. However, during construction, city inspectors will coordinate with the contractor to minimize construction noise level. The city is the lead agency for compliance with the California Environmental Quality Act, or CEQA. A draft initial study, mitigated negative declaration, has been prepared by the city and was made available for public review on April 6th. A notice of availability, or NOA, to adopt the ISMND was also circulated on April 6th. The ISMND is available for review on the city's website. The public review and comment period will end at 5 p.m. on May 6th. The city will consider all written comments received by the public. The city expects to adopt the final initial study, mitigated negative declaration, at a city council hearing in June. The project would result in no impacts to agriculture and forestry resources, land use and planning, mineral resources, tribal cultural resources, and wildfire. The project would result in less than significant impacts to energy, greenhouse gas emissions, population and housing, and recreation. With mitigation, the project would result in less than significant impacts to aesthetics, air quality, biological resources, cultural resources, geology and soils, hazards and hazardous materials, hydrology and water quality, noise, public services, traffic, and utilities and service systems. Mitigation for aesthetic impacts include using low light level, energy efficient and directed illumination and pedestrian scale lighting, and add architectural details to bridge barriers. Mitigation for short-term air quality impacts during construction includes adhering to Green Book standard specifications for public works construction, Caltrans and/or SCA QMD requirements during construction, and utilizing construction equipment that meets Tier 4 emission standards. Mitigations for biological resources include performing nesting bird surveys, preparing bat eviction procedures, or providing proper bat roosting habitat, removing swallow nests in the fall. Focusing night lighting only on the directed areas of work. Avoiding overspill of bridge lighting and obtaining resource agency permits prior to construction. Implementing best management practices during construction, and properly containing and disposing of plants removed or soil disturbed. Mitigation for unknown cultural resources includes requiring professional archaeologists to evaluate any cultural materials encountered during construction, and if human remains are discovered during construction, the project must adhere to state requirements. Mitigation for impacts to paleontological resources requires that if paleontological resources are found, work must stop and paleontologist is required to assess the find. Mitigation for hazards and hazardous materials requires hazardous material testing and removal must be performed prior to demolition of the bridge/structures. Hydrology and water quality mitigation includes obtaining a general construction general permit and groundwater dewatering permit from the Regional Water Quality Control Board and ensuring a final water quality management plan has been prepared for the project in compliance with the city and state requirements. Mitigation for construction noise includes equipping all construction equipment with mufflers, placing all construction equipment away from receptors, and limiting construction activities to between 7 a.m. and 8 p.m., Monday through Saturday, in compliance with the city's noise ordinance. Mitigation of short-term and operational traffic impacts includes submitting a traffic management plan for construction and monitoring the intersection of Fairview Street/Civic Center Drive. Preparation of the traffic management plan would also reduce impacts to public services. Mitigation for utility impacts requires coordinating with utility providers and updating the utility survey. The city values the public input, and public outreach is important to us even during this special time. As part of the CEQA process, the notice of availability was mailed to residents within 500 feet of the project limits, which includes more than 400 addresses. The initial study, mitigated negative declaration, and notice of availability were also mailed to several agencies, elected officials, utility companies, and interested parties. The notice of availability was also mailed to neighborhood associations. In addition, the draft initial study mitigated negative declaration is located on the city's website for public review. The draft initial study mitigated negative declaration is available for public review and comment commencing April 6, 2020. The purpose of the public review and comment period is to afford interested parties the opportunity to provide their input on the adequacy of the environmental document. Written comments will be accepted until 5 p.m. on May 6, 2020. Written comments may be submitted to Kenny Wynn, City of Santa Ana, 20 Civic Center Plaza, M36, Santa Ana, California, 92702, or emailed to Fairview at santa-ana.org. After the public review period, the city expects to adopt the final initial study mitigated negative declaration at a city council hearing in June. The adoption of this ISMND is critical for the city. With the adoption of the environmental clearance document, the city will be authorized to use the allocated construction funding and apply for additional grant funding to cover any shortfall. After City Council approves the environmental document, the project moves on to the design phase where funding has been secured. The city expects to finalize the construction bid package in June of 2021. In addition, the city will apply for right-of-way funding in September 2020 and will begin the property acquisition process in July of 2021 at the earliest. The city plans to apply for construction funding in September 2021, begin construction in July 2022. The total project cost, including planning, design, right-of-way, and construction, is estimated to be $19 million. The city has secured funding from the Federal Highway Administration, FHWA, in the amount of $14.2 million through the Highway Bridge Replacement and Rehabilitation Program. With the clearance of the environmental document, the city will coordinate FHWA and its designee to be authorized using this funding source. The city has also secured a $0.2 million from OCTA through their Measure M competitive grants program thus far. The city will apply for the shortfall of $1.6 million at this upcoming fall and the remaining $3 million in 2021. Thank you very much for taking the time to learn about this project. Should you have any questions, please send an email to fairview@santa-ana.org.